Hi, guys. Hello, Cheryl and Jody and Ruth. Who else do we have? It's time for some late night beading and painting. We're going to be doing some extra stuff, some extra fun stuff today. But how are you guys doing today? Can you hear me right? Also, I apologize for the sound. I couldn't find my little lapel microphone. It's around here somewhere. Probably. Hi, Celeste and Brandy. I'm so glad to see y'all. Okay, so I found my lapel mic, but where is my little plug-in thing? That's the question. How have I been doing? And you're doing good today, Faith. Oh, I'm sorry, Marie. Well, I'm glad that you're here to hang out with me today. Neon pink earrings. Do you like these? These are my little unicorn earrings that I made sometimes with Sam's bead box. And when you get the gems on a strand, they'll have little tassels on the end. And this was one of their Sam's bead boxes. Was it last year or the year before? Where I just grabbed the tassel and these little unicorn charms and some really pretty beads and made myself some unicorn earrings. It was pretty fun. I have a video for that. Hello, Lisa. I'm sorry that you're depressed, Elsie. Hopefully this will help you take your mind off of this a little bit. That's my hope. I'm glad that you were able to make it live, Ronnie. Is it Ronnie or Ronnie? Yeah, I got some Green Girl Studios things a little while ago, and I wanted to use them today. The cold breeze, Tina. Oh man, yeah, I've got my jacket on so I can stay warm and toasty. Gotta put some warm socks on too. Hello, Miranda. Hi, June. So yeah, basically tonight I just wanted to hang out with everyone. I'm so glad, Celeste. Psychiatrists can really, really be a lifeline. Therapists too. So good to see everyone. So happy about that. But yeah, so when I got my Green Girl Studio order, it included this little palette. So you're up late for a change. Jody, I'm surprised. If you need to go to bed at any time before I'm done, please go ahead. Don't feel the need to stay up on my account because you can't always catch up in the morning. But I thought I would fill up this palette with these same colors of watercolor in here. And then we could just use my little pad of paper here. Let me get a little thing to separate my paper off of here. This is a block, and it's got the paper glued down on all four sides, except for this little opening here. And then you just take a palette knife and slide it between the pieces of watercolor paper, and it comes right off. And then you've got another sheet. Ready to do that. Oh, thank you, Cheryl. Sometimes these things are really weird, like especially if I don't tame them beforehand. Because I have a cowlick that goes this way, and when I was a kid, they would like be a little bit wonky. But in addition to having my cowlick, my hair texture has also changed since I got older, and I now have a wave pattern that I never used to. And so if I'm not careful, my hair will be like Haley Mills hair. I'll release the craft is also called Catching Me Live. Oh, I'm glad you guys are being there for each other in this chat. That makes me really happy. But yeah, so I'm going to fill up this color palette and then we're going to paint a little alligator and then I am going to make a little alligator necklace with this charm that I also got from Green Girl Studios. Your hair also changed when when things happen. Like my hair used to be real straight, and now it's wavy. It's weird, and I'm not used to it. So I'll figure out how to work with it in a little bit. But yeah, because it came with my Green Girl Studios order was this alligator guy and this bead mix, and I think they actually still have like all three of these things on the Green Girl Studios site if y'all wanted to get some of that as well. And then I've got some cord because I have a new to me tool that I want to try out. It is this knotting tool because I always struggle with making knots when I'm knotting things. It's a struggle. So I thought maybe this tool will make it a little bit easier for me. And I'll do an official review of the tool after I've used it for a few projects. But this will be the first project that you guys will get to see me using it on. Oh my gosh, it is so addicting, isn't it? Oh, Marie, you're in like there's actually been some like newer tools developed probably in the last like 20 years that might be fun. Maybe make things a little bit different. There's also like newer materials as well. But yay. Okay, so you can figure this out with me, Marie. We can figure out the knotting tool together. How about that? You know what? It was cold here that it was cold enough that we had to run the faucet a little bit because we don't usually get if you're not from Texas or one of the warmer areas. When they build houses, they don't always insulate the pipes, especially pipes that run along outside walls. And so it's best to let it drip so there's a little bit of movement in there in the pipes so they don't freeze and explode and cause a lot of trouble. So that's what you got to do about that. Okay, Sarah showed how to use this tool. That would be Sarah Ayler on the Soft Flex channel, right? Oh, you guys. All right, so we're all on the same page then. We're gonna try doing some knotting and make it better. Oh man. Elsie, I'm really sorry about your bad news. Hopefully we can be a distraction. Because sometimes I just need a distraction when I'm having a really terrible day. And hopefully we can do that for you. Because there's not a lot else I can do except be there, You're ready to quit dripping your sink. Yeah. Yeah, hopefully it'll start warming up soon. Right? Right? It's gonna be pretty warm here. Just in time for me to go to my sister's house because I'm gonna be heading up there on Monday. It's gonna be lots of fun. We're gonna finally have our sister time. I'm gonna bring my camera though, and she might join me for a little bit of adventure together. We did a thing with the Softflex Tucson packs. I bought all 4 of them, and we're going to divide them up between us and open them together, and probably make stuff with that. So it's going to be pretty fun. Oh, hello, Robin. Oh man, 80 degrees on Tuesday. Well, it must be February. You know, in Arizona, where I grew up, February was like the best time for them to have the Renaissance Fair because it would be warm but not hot. And so you could spend like all day outside and be just absolutely fine all day because the weather got really great in February. No, Jody. All right. Well, I'm gonna work on this tonight. First thing I want to do though is fill up my little stuff. So let me move my beading stuff out of the way. I've got these beads. I've got this cord. I've got this. Move that out of the way, and we'll do paint stuff for a little bit, and then we'll come back. Sarah Lovecraft. Okay, great. Sarah Lovecraft, which is nodding. That is good to know. I'm going to move this out of the way real quick. And this. All right. Now, I love filling up watercolor pans and palettes with paint and then letting them dry. That's one of like the funnest activities for me. So this is a palette that I've already pre-filled with these same colors that I have for my desk, but this is a teeny tiny palette. You know, they're okay. They're not as much of an issue to this week with it being so cold. I'm like, oh, finally I'm warming up for a minute. We're just going up and down, and that's fine. It's like a roller coaster, an absolute roller coaster. Let me solo lay out that one. Okay, so I'm going to fill this up. I've got my little palette. I've got a damp paper towel. I've got a couple of toothpicks. You guys will see what I do with the toothpicks in a minute. And then I've got my paint. And this is a split primary palette. It's a color mixing palette. Like a primary palette would be yellow, red, and blue. A split primary is a warm red, a warm yellow, a warm blue, and then a cool red, cool yellow, and cool blue. And we can talk a little bit more about what makes each of them in a little bit, but for now, I just want to get the paint in here. Oh no, too cold to make jewelry. Oh, that's too bad. But you have been making so many earrings, Sharon. I am so glad. Because you know what? Earrings are the best. This is from Davinci. They're a US-based watercolor company, and they sell you these huge tubes of watercolor paint for about the same price as you'd get like a 5 milliliter tube from somewhere else. And it's honey based, so it re-wets really well, really fast. So I'm just going to squeeze a little bit out into this pan. And this is what I use that damp paper towel for, is cleaning off the threads so I can squeeze the lid back on and not have it glue itself shut. This is so much fun for me. And now I'm going to take my toothpick and spread that paint out to the edges and smooth it out a little bit. That is our cool yellow. And what makes it a cool yellow is it is closer to the green side of the spectrum than it is to the orange side of the spectrum. Hello, Coldo. I'm glad you made it too. Bracelets and ankle bracelets are so great. You're unknotting. You missed a knot. Oh no. All right, and this is my warm yellow, and a warm yellow is going to be closer to the orange side of the spectrum. so it makes it warm. I don't think I'm going to need to use the toothpick to smooth that out at all. And this is the warm yellow, warm red. It's actually more of an orange. It's vermilion, but it is like an orangey orange red. And like with these 6 colors, I can mix just about any color that I want. I'm gonna paint an alligator that has gray skin in a green pond, and I don't have any green or gray in this, so I'm gonna do all of my mixing with this. But first, I'm going to fill up my little palette. This is a teeny tiny travel palette. I'm going to use my desk palette to paint with though, because it will already be dry, because this takes days to dry your watercolor paint in the palette. So I'm going to need to leave it alone while it dries. This is really fun though. And this is the Red Rose Deep. It's quinacridone rose. It is more of a magenta color. Okay, good night, Sharon. Thanks for jumping in. Yeah, the alligator might be pretty colorful, but we'll get it all painted out and we'll have fun making it. I'm going to paint the background of the alligator, and then while it's drying, I'm going to get started on making the necklace. So this is just like the art and jewelry videos that I do, except it's live. It'll all be live. And that is the ultramarine blue, and that is my warm blue. And what makes the blue warm or cold is if it's closer to green, it's cool, and if it's closer to purple, it's warm. And ultramarine is closer to purple than to green. Isn't it tiny? It's so sweet and tiny. I'm gonna need to find a good place to set it while it dries. Come on, friend. And also hope the paint sticks. Slide this off of here so I can hold it without getting my fingers in all of the paint. This is phthalo blue. It's my cool blue. And it leans more towards teal or turquoise. But there we go. So that could, yeah, it's not Tiara Cats. This is a Green Girl Studios joint. So like it came like this, where you've got your little mixing palette side and then your little palette to put your paint into. All right, let me clean this off. All right. So there we go. I've got that poured. That's do some color mixing. I'm gonna let that dry. Hi. Hello, Joyce. Hello, Sylvia. You would have paint all over you by now. I have a little bit of paint on me, just a little bit. It'll be fine though. It comes right off. It's water soluble. That's the fun thing about watercolor paint, is that, you know, most of the time it doesn't stain too badly. I'm going to worry about putting the lid back on. Yes, there we go. I got the lid on. Okay, so that's going to need to dry out. Cynthia's got so much talent. But let's get some of this paint here so you can see the colors painted out. We've got our bright yellow. We've got our warm yellow. We have our, see how that's like more of an orange than a red? It's the warm red. These are cool red. See, it's kind of pink. There's our blue, warm blue, and a cool blue. And so if I want a green, maybe I can take my warm blue and mix it with my warm yellow. And get one color of green. And if I take the cool blue, I'm just doing some color mixing right now. And mix that with my cool yellow, and I'm getting green all in it. That's fine. I'm getting more of a tealy kind of a blue, and I'm going to want that color in there for sure. Whoop. See, so you've got like one blue, and then you've got more of a desaturated green. And if I take this color, and mix a little bit of this blue in there, I get a nice brown color that leans a little bit gray. Oh, that's fine, Sylvia. You can come eat, drop in anytime, drop out anytime. You don't have to stay for the whole thing. If you want to catch up tomorrow because it starts getting late, that's totally fine. I'm just glad that you've come for a little while. If I take some of this blue, some of this red, and get myself a nice purple. I can tone down that purple a little bit with some of this green, maybe. Where's my gray? I need a gray that's too brown. So I need to bring it back to this end. Too red. That's part of the fun of color mixing, is trying to figure out where to compensate for the color going wrong. Okay, so that makes a nice, good gray color. I'm probably going to use this gray color for my alligator. So, okay, that looks like some good colors for me to use. We've got a couple of those. I'm just going to clean off these guys a little bit. They're just messy. Okay. There we go, for the most part. All right. Now, I had a little reference picture that I was looking at. I'm going to do just a small painting. Look, my sister's here. Hi, Jenny. This is Davinci color mixing palette. If you are late coming in, I just filled up this little teeny palette just to catch you up with that split primary set. This is the same one, so while that's drying, I'm going to be painting with this one. I'm just going to do a little border with some tape. This isn't going to be a big painting. All right, so I'm going to include the reference photo in the description below after this has finished streaming. So you can come back to the video and visit the description if you want to see the photo that I got off Unsplash. Those are digital rights available for people to use for things without needing to get a license for it. But I do want to credit the artist for it. I'm not looking at it right now. I just was using it to give me an idea of what I wanted to do. I am going to just sketch out a little alligator. Alligators have kind of a block head around here at the front, kind of a bulby body in the middle, a long snoot, and then some fat little chickeny legs along the sides, and some little arms paddling that way. All right. And then what's going to turn this guy from a little platypus looking guy into an alligator is the tail. All right. I'm just going to give myself a little bit of a outline for my alligator. Hi, everybody. The paint palette is so adorable. So that's my little guy. And then I'm going to have my little, because in the reference photo, the alligator had a shadow on the bottom of the lake because the water was so clear. So we're going to paint a little shadow down there too. waiting for this to clear up a little bit so you can see it better. There we go. So I've got my little alligator and my little shadow. And so what I'm going to do is paint my background. I'm going to avoid the spots where I've got my alligator. And, right? So I'm going to avoid all of the spaces there. So I'm just going to have like these little white spaces for the shadow and for my alligator. And I'm just going to paint some greens with some yellow splooshes. And, oh, okay. So, Lisa, those are really good questions. Okay, so bead weaving, you're probably going to want beading thread for that. Beading thread and needles. You can do it with the extra fine beading wire. But if you're going to do just regular beading, then you'd want the medium or fine. And that's just, you know, stringing stuff onto a thing and crimping on the ends. But if you want to do like bead weaving, I would suggest beading thread and needles for that. And that's where I would start with that, Lisa. And Jill Wiseman has amazing beginning beader tutorials on her YouTube channel. If you want to start with basics like this is a right angle weave and this is, you know, these other sorts of things. So that's that's where I would start. Hello, Debbie. Okay. So here we go. I'm going to just use my brush here and get some of this light yellow. Just kind of spread it around as a background color. And then we'll drop some blue and green in here in spots and spaces while it's still wet and let it travel around. So that's what we're going to do for that. Oh yeah, Jill's amazing. She is such a great instructor. I learned so much from especially some of her older videos, but she's also has some newer videos. But she has a great, like a whole series of beginning beater sort of things. And you know what? I'm actually going to cover up my shadow with my background color as well, because I'm going to be just painting over it with my dark blue when we get to that, because it's going to be the shadow. Yeah, we love Jill Wiseman at our house. I think she's fantastic. And by we, I mean me. She is very much community focused. I love that. Oh yes. Oh yes. Off the beaded path. I would say also who else does really good bead weaving tutorials that I'm trying to think of. I don't know. Mostly it's Jill that I can think of, that especially if you're a beginner. They've got some fantastic in their archive. Oh yes, no. she is fantastic too, yes. I agree. 100%. Okay. All right, so now let's grab some of these greens I mixed up. Just start spreading them around. Oh, hello, Mom. You got here just in time for me to start making my background color for my little alligator. We're holding space for our alligator here. Okay. See how that yellow background comes through even after I drop in this other color. I'll be coming back with a marker after I finish making the alligator and all that, but that won't be till the end. All right, and I can still, I think, mostly see my, let me lift some of this where my, I want to still be able to see my pencil marks where my shadow is. Okay, good. I can still see where those are. All right. You have an alligator in your pond, Marie? Oh my gosh, I hope you are very careful around that wild animal. All right, I feel like this is a good enough swampy water. Clear but swampy. Maybe I'll just put a couple more dupes and let that spread out while I make an alligator necklace to go with this guy. There you go. Oh my gosh. You guys are funny. So funny. All right. Gonna set this aside so it can start drying. And then look at the paint. It's already flowing through that water. Love this. Love this. We're holding space for our alligator. That's what we say nowadays, right? Holding space for something. All right. I gotta get this guy out of the way. Put it somewhere safe where things aren't going to be placed on top of it. And yet, we can keep some of the dog hair out of it. Pull this guy down. All right. All right. Tostitos cup. All right. So let's see what we've got here. This was the Rainforest Respite bead mix. from Green Girl Studio. It's all Green Girl Studio stuff that I'm doing today. Doggy glitter, yes. Yeah, the dog hair in my paint. It's just doggy glitter. That's all it is. Right. But yeah, so I got this Alligator, Green Girl Studios, Beware the Shallows. And that's my inspiration for the painting. And I grabbed some knotting cord that I've got here. I think it's 0.05. I'm not sure. But I got enough, hopefully, to do some knotting with. This is a little over a wingspan. Like a wingspan and a quarter. And then went ahead and used like some heat to heat up just the ends so they wouldn't fray, but also so that I could put the ends through a bead or two without having to use kitty glitter. There you go. That's right. Without having to use like a needle or anything while I'm doing this. So I've got all of these gorgeous, gorgeous beads. I've got this guy here. It came even with a thing with that. So I'm just going to grab some wire and make a focal using one of these. Is this dragon blood or dragon stone? It's dragon something. It's one of the gemstones in this mix. I'm going to use that to make a little focal for my pendant. I need wire. You know, I just did a big project with wire. So you'd think I would have it to hand. I think 20 gauge is what we're gonna do. Yeah, that's what it looks like to me, because it's got that green with the red inclusions. And there's about 4 of them in this packet. And then we've got some of these, like, they feel turquoisey to me. Hello, we're so glad that you're here with us. We've got some of those, and then we've got these other ones, which might be a different type of turquoise. I'm not sure. These guys. I've got several of them. Then we've got some clear quartzy looking guys. Some these light blue beads. Spacers. Some much smaller beads. I don't know if I'll be able to fit some of these smaller beads on the cord for knotting, but I can definitely fit some of these like 6mm and up beads. And maybe some of the spacers. We'll see. Oh no. All right, Jody. We'll come catch up tomorrow so you can see how my painting turns out. Have a good night. Thanks for hanging out with us for a bit. And you guys, get ready to watch Jody tomorrow with Seed Bead Saturday on Danielle Wick's channel. It's going to be pretty rad. I'm excited to see it. It's going to be fun to watch. All right, so I'm just going to put the white one, a spacer, and the big hefty dragonstone on my wire. I'm going to make myself basically a bail that I can attach my beading cord to, and then start knotting off of that. So let's do wrapped loop. I've got my round nose pliers here. I bent it back and then I brought it over so that we have a centered loop. And then I'm just going to wrap it about 3 times right here. 1, 2, 3. Snip off my excess. And that wrap is a little... Hello, Jill Cara. Jill Cara? It could be the bloodstone as well, yeah. Oh, thank you, Katie. Your 3rd goddess bracelet. That's fantastic. I think you'll be able to get it just fine. It does, yeah. There we go. All right, now that I've got that all pushed up, I'm going to measure 3 fingers from the bottom of there and cut the wire, not my fingers. And then I'm going to make another loop that I can attach this to. Hello, Danielle. Jill Cara, mom and dad couldn't decide. That's pretty rad, actually. I guess it's probably a good thing that my parents didn't have that problem, or I might be like Beck Wendra or something. I'm not kidding either. That's what my mom wanted to name me. The Wendra part. But I like that, the Jill Cara. All right, just swinging that wide and getting that on in there. There we go. All right, and then just wrapping this up to my bead, and then I'll have my little focal bar done. I'm going to attach the cord up to that. We're going to try this knotting thing. We're going to see if this tool was worth it. It wasn't that expensive of a tool. But if it makes it so that I can knot better and easier, it will definitely be worth it to me. Okay. All right, here we go. I've got my cord. Like I said, I already heated up the ends and then gave them a pinch so that, because they're made from nylon, so they're plastic, and now they can go through the holes of the beads. But I'm going to put both ends together and go through this loop and then through that to make just a little lark's head right there at the top of that. I think I might need a single bead here. Yeah, let's do a single bead there. Oh, can I fit both ends of this wire through that one bead though? That's the question. It's not wire, it's cord. Can I fit both ends through this or just one at a time? All right, one at a time. There we go. That's my answer. Oh yeah, absolutely. Let me get that closer. So that's the back or the front, depending on which way you are looking at it. It says beware the shallows. The Green Girl Studios pendant. This is the pewter one. It's like $10. It's not that expensive. They're handmade. They're hand carved by the folks at Green Girl Studios. I absolutely love them, and that's my little alligator on the front. Yeah. And I'm doing, if you just got to the stream, I started a painting to go with it, and I'm waiting for this to dry so that I can finish the painting. And while I'm waiting, we're going to be trying out this new tool, this hobby worker tool. All right, let me get this. I'm gonna put no, let's do one of these blue guys. Let's do a blue guy. The light blue. A spacer. This turquoise guy. Another spacer. And then one of these light blue beads. All right, and I've just done this on one side, and then I'm going to make a knot. Right here. All right. Now let's get this knotting tool out here and see if it does what it says it's supposed to do. So I've got the knot on the spike. I've got the thread through here. Will this move down to, nope. Should I move this up? Because I need to move the knot closer to this. All right, I think I might have been a little premature. This is my first time using the knotting tool. Okay. So we are near the bead. The knot is there. Okay. That should be right up against the bead. Right. Now I just push this up with my thumb. And it made a knot, but not near my bead. Okay. I might be able to knot better without that. I'm gonna undo this knot. I'm gonna do my own knot first. Yeah, I'm pretty sure there's a learning curve on this too. I'm just, you know, and that's why I like to try out the little tools before I give my full review. Because what if I'm terrible at it at first? I'm like, this is the awful. Very specific way to hold your hands. Probably good to watch a tutorial. Aha, an extra hand. Well, see, that's why I got the beading tool. I thought the beading tool would be, or the knotting tool would be my extra pair of hands. And this is sliding through. My lark's head knot isn't holding. I should have done a knot on top of there too. All right. I'm going to scoot you down here, right next to that. You know, this went better in my head. This went a lot better in my head. You're right, I can practice when we're watching our Wheel of Time rewatch. Because the new season of Wheel of Time is coming out in March, and it is almost March, my sister and I are going to do a little rewatch of the first 2 seasons while I'm visiting her. Okay, I just need to get this first knot knotted and get this end done as well so that it's not slipping around on me while I'm trying to do this. Because I think that's just adding to the troubles I'm having, is not having a firm knot at the bottom either. It's this lark's head, and it is sliding around while I am trying to get the other one done. Well, you know, the first season, they had to make a ton of sacrifices due to having to shut down their production, and do all sorts of things. So season 2 started making up for some of the sacrifices that they had to make to the story, in order to get it back on track. And so season 2 was better. Season 2 was much better. They did a couple of different things with the Heroes of the Horn, just trying to keep it spoiler free. But ultimately, I thought it was a good story. They're moving very quickly through the storylines. So, you know, if you're expecting a lot of women pacing back and forth and like twitching their skirts a bunch, they left that out of the show. But there's still some brooding and stuff like that if that's your bag. But you know, I thought it was an interesting portrayal of the Shanshan and all of that sort of thing. So it was pretty cool. At least in my opinion. I wasn't super disappointed with the first season. I didn't like some of the way that they treated some of the characters, but again, they had to make some sacrifices for the shortened season and for the format. And as long as the story gets told, I think I'm not too worried about how it's being told. Does that make sense? Feel free to chime in, Jenny. Or if any of you have seen Wheel of Time or were book readers that weren't fans of the thing, let us know what you thought. All right, now I just want to get a good knot down before I start adding any more beads or try the knotting tool again. I think it might be easier. Once I've gotten it started. Okay. Hey, friend, there we go. Oh, well, you know what, Celeste? There are some serial killers in that story. It did, Stacy. That's one of the reasons that they had to make some sacrifices story-wise, was because they had to shut down production for COVID stuff. One of the actors um, he started working at a different production, so he couldn't come back to the second season, and they replaced him. He was one of the main actors. And honestly, the actor that they got to replace him, I think is going to do a great job. He'll be a good Matt. All right, so I've got my knot there, and then I'm going to do one of these larger beads with the white bead, a spacer in between them, like this. And then we'll add another knot. I'm not knotting between every single bead, because that would take forever. And I would like to sleep tonight. I might not get to the end of this. It's entirely possible that it will start getting late at night, and I'll need to finish this up tomorrow. But we will go until it's about there. Yes, Donald is a much better Matt than Barney was. Much better Matt. He's not as mopey. I mean, he's still, conveying emotion and stuff, but like, Matt was never a mopey character. All right, let's try this again. I'm going to try to tighten this closer to my bead. Come on, buddy. It might be the thread that I'm using, or the cord that I'm using. Maybe? I don't know. Okay. So here I am next to there. I'm holding onto the thread. Yes, charming rogue. That's it exactly. All right, and slide that off. And look, I did a knot. Okay. All right, I'm going to leave this side alone and just work on this one strand, but make sure that whatever I do on this side, I will do on the other side. So I'm going to move both of these over here so that I don't accidentally use up all of that side's beads. I think I'm going to pop another one of these guys on here. Yeah, let me 1, 2. Do these guys all match up with these? Just curious. It looks like these feel very moonstony, actually. They have a little bit of a glow. Okay, so those will all match up with those. 1. So why don't I just put this guy on here? Because he's nice and heavy. And just have a knot for him. Too bad I don't have a stand to set the knotter down, and that's true. That's true, but then that would just be a whole other piece of equipment that I'd need to move around. Right. All right, so I'm holding this so I'm not pulling down that way. Got my knotter here. Don't be afraid to give it a tug. That between there. I got another knot. Hello, Kathy. I am trying out this knotter by knotting some of these beads into a necklace that I got from Green Girl Studios with this pendant. And I had just filled the little watercolor palette. I moved it out of the way. And after I was done filling my watercolor palette, I started a painting that we're going to finish up in a bit after I do a little more knotting. It is still a little bit damp, my paper, but it is heading towards dry. So we might get to the art before I get to the rest of my necklace. I might do one side with y'all and then save the other side for later, but I definitely wanted to try out this new knotting tool. I will do a full review, by the way, of the knotting tool after I've used it on a few more projects, because it does have a learning curve. And I want to make sure that I am learning how to use it properly. Yeah, knots are a thing. Why can't I hold this the right way? Just kept rotating in my fingers to go the wrong way. That's fine. I feel like these are apatite, which is one of my favorite beads. Hey, focus. There we go. Yes, you can, Kathy. Let me bring that up closer. It's this alligator. It's only $10, by the way, over at Green Girl Studios. And then on the other side, this is Beware the Shallows. It costs a little bit more if you get the sterling silver version. This is the pewter version, which I love. All right, knotting tool. Let's get that in there. All right. Perfect. She really does. Knotting. I'm sorry. I'm really happy about the knotting tool, because knotting is one of those things that, as I mentioned earlier, I have issues with knotting. I'm not always the best at it. So if I can have something that helps me be a little bit better at it, that's going to be so great. Actually, let's swap that one out for this one. Perfect. I'm just trying to be a little symmetrical. Oops. On that side wasn't great for this. All right, I'm having trouble getting through the hole on that bead, so I'm going to swap it out for a different one. There we go. That's perfect. That bead might have been just fine for like beading wire, but this cord is a little bit thicker than beading wire. Oh, that is so cool. Ah, that is so cool. Yeah, I should probably go find that on their channel because it is such a cool pendant. I love it, and I love this bead mix. It just goes so well with it. So great. See, I've tried with tweezers too, and I'm still not good at them. So, you know, if I can find something that helps me be better at it, then tweezers or even an awl. I've tried the bead awl for that as well. Barrel knots, yes, barrel knots are great. They are so much fun. Okay, here we go. Randy uses tweezers. And I have tried tweezers. I guess it's another one of those like learning curve things that probably if I spent more time practicing with tweezers, I might get better at it. But if I can do the knotting tool too, there we go. Oh, thank you, Stacy. I appreciate that so much, Stacy. Thank you for doing that. I'll have to check that out after the live or tomorrow morning, one or the other. All right. Get that in there. Hey, let's make sure that the bead is outside of the knot, not inside of it. It's the wrong way. There we go. That's going to have that closer. And that made the knot. I think I love this. These beads. Okay, a little bit more with the blue, green, blue. You know what I'm not doing? 1, 2, 3, 4. Not putting these guys on the other side too. Okay, because that's my second half of my necklace. Oh, hello, Dana. Oh no. Yeah, it is a good tool, but like again, like the first you saw that me struggling with it at first. I think I'm starting to get it. It's better if you have one end that's not sliding around like I had it. Once I established like my first knot though, after that, the rest of them they seem to be doing all right. I don't think I'm struggle busting as much as I was at the beginning of this. Cynthia does knotting on their lives Wednesday and Sunday. Okay. We'll have to catch up with them. I don't always get to everybody's lives on Wednesdays. It is a busy day for a lot of the beading community, but it's also a day that I usually spend with my son doing stuff. So if I'm on a live on Wednesday, it's something that I've carved time out to do. Like if I join somebody else's live from that activity. So I don't always catch lives as they're happening. Sometimes I will go back and watch them afterwards, though, and I think that is probably a really worthy thing to watch. All right, let's see. Oh no, I'm sorry, Dana. Well, I hope that he starts feeling better pretty soon, because it is not fun either to be the carer of somebody who's sick or to be the person who's sick. Either one. It's pretty terrible. not mad about this knotting. Oh my gosh, yes, Celeste, if you remember last week, I said I wasn't feeling well and everybody else was not feeling well either. We all just had a rough weekend last weekend, didn't we? It was not fun for anyone. I think I'm gonna move one of these guys over here for that side and then grab these two. All right. Oh, one thing that I haven't been doing is putting the spacers over there. So I need 1, 2, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Let's get these spacers over there. I will need that for the other side. They're just the little silver spacers. This is a fun mix. Are my beads from anywhere in particular? Yes, in fact, they were from Green Girl Studios as well. So I got the paint palette. You missed me filling it with some paint. See, I have it set aside in here so it can be protected while it dries. So I filled it up with a split primary palette, and that's Green Girl Studios. Their paint palettes. And then I also got this alligator pendant. And then this was their rainforest respite mix. And that's all of these beads and these clasps and all of that. That's all from that mix from Green Girl Studios. So that is what I did. Let's add 2 more over there. Perfect. So that's why. That's why I'm doing these. And then I just got this. So I'm just trying it out, trying to see if I can get it to work. And I struggled with it at first, Dana. You missed it. And now I think I'm getting the hang of it. But I will do a full product review on it after I've used it in some other projects. This is the first one. So you guys get to see me doing the struggling. Thank you, Kathy. I struggle doing knots, and so if I can get a tool that makes it better, all the better for me. All the better for me. Okay, and then I need this one over there. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Oof. I don't know if that's going to be long enough pretty soon. It might be that I'll need to do just some individual knots on some of these beads around the back. Ooh, and how am I going to finish this? That's a good question. I think I've got some clamshells somewhere. Some culottes that I can close around some knots. But I might have to look for them. Focus, guys. There we go. How are you doing, buddy? So yeah, that's 1, 2, 3. And then we've got 1, 2, 3, 4. Perfect. I'm just checking my length. And you know what? I actually think that this might be just long enough. for me. Oh, I need a spacer over here. That's right. Yeah, I have some clamshells. I just don't have them in easy reach of my desk. So I can finish this later, not on the live, but I can at least get it to a point where it will be like the right length. And then I can maybe start on the other side, or we can do a little more painting in a minute. But let me get this knotted. I'm just gonna double check that. Oh, they put a seed bead inside the cloth. That's a good idea. Yeah, that is going to be the perfect length for me. I'm not going to need to make it any longer than that. And that didn't take very long at all, did it? That was pretty fast with the knotting tool. And probably the fact that I didn't knot between each bead. Good night, Cheryl. Thanks for popping in and hanging out with us for a while. So glad to have you spend a part of your evening here. All right. So maybe I can do this other side. All right, let's take a vote. Should we work on the painting a little bit more? Because there's going to be part of it that needs to dry before we can finish it. So I could do more painting and then we can come back and do the other side of this necklace. Or we could do the other side of the necklace and then do some painting and then just wait for that to dry. No, I've talked myself out of it. I will come back here. We're going to do more. This is my first side. It's done. And then the second side needs to be done too. That didn't take very long, but I want to get back to painting real quick. So I'm going to move this aside. Painting time, yes. That is what we're going to do. Here's my little alligator outline. And I am going to be using a marker to do more fine details afterwards. That's a great idea to have a little bit of seed bead. Because sometimes I worry with the culottes, I worry about them being a little too, what is the word that I'm trying to think of? Like, I don't know if the knot will slip through the hole or something. I'm always a little paranoid about that. Okay, so I mixed up this gray, and this gray it's starting to separate, but that's kind of cool. And that's the really fun thing about mixing it from colors. I'm going to use this gray to fill in some spots on this alligator. Got it here. It's a really fun medium, Shilkara, but It can be finicky. And the best thing you can do if you do play around with watercolor is learn to let go, because it will. Hello! This is me, Bekipedia. Yeah, it's not a subscription anymore, but they do still do monthly tutorial packages that you can get. But a lot of the education from Let's Make Art is still there on their channel. They have a lot of really good intro things that you could do. I'm just doing a little bit more in some of the shadowy areas of this guy. Because like I said, we'll go back in and do more detail with the marker. I just want to add some little darker sections around like some of the limbs, around the head. Just a couple of little bits. That's going to be a little bit. Oh, yes. Getting excited about beads is definitely a thing. And then the shadow, because it's dry down here, I'm going to paint the shadow too. All right, Marie, thanks for hanging out with us for a little while. Have a good night. All right, I'm going to grab some of the blue here. And mix it with this brown to make this like teal color. And I'm just going to use this for my shadow down here in the water. The shadow does not need to be detailed. And it can be a little more transparent. Little alligator. You're going to make it out alive. Yep. Oh, man. Yeah, I love being inspired by like both of these little things that I like to do. It makes it so much fun for me. I'm just going to do a little bit of like glazing sort of around this guy just to get us a little bit, maybe a little bit of movement in this water. The wrong angle for this. That's okay. Yeah, it's so funny how that happens, isn't it? How like you be like, oh, okay, that's just a thing, and then you just add a few more layers and add a few more elements, and it starts to actually look like a painting, like what you wanted it to look like. It's weird, absolutely weird, just crazy how that happens. It's like the magic moment when things like start looking like, oh, that's what you wanted to paint. Am I the beading world's Bob Ross, Dana? Do we have a happy little alligator? There you go. All right, I'm gonna put my little alligator away because this guy needs to dry before I put marker down for my details. And I want to bead the rest of that necklace. I want to do some more knotting with my tool because I think I got it down, and that didn't take very long to do that one side. Um, I can finish this actually. I thought I might be finishing up tomorrow instead of doing it tonight. I will be putting the culottes on later by myself, but for the most part, it will be done. I am about to knock my water off my desk, so I'm just going to move that out of the way. Happy alligators, but angry birds. That's right. My sister is reminding us all that I cannot paint happy birds. It's just impossible for me. Every time I've tried to paint birds, they end up looking angry or really, really dumb. So like, that's a challenge for me. I think I painted some birds actually for the birds of a feather kit. I made some little blob birds, which was super fun. But I think a couple of them might have looked a little angry. A couple of them might have, yeah. Oh my goodness, 3 pounds of colors. Ah, you know what? When I was doing my big sorting thing, like I was like, oh, this is so many beads, but it was so satisfying for it to all be done, for them to all be all completely sorted and in the places where I wanted them to be. That was so fantastic. Why is this not going through? Is it my cord? Or is it the bead? Uh-huh. It was the bead. Oh. Oh no, the big snake paint. You know, I wanted to get some of the snake stuff too. I just haven't gotten around to it. I was born in the year of the snake. So that is definitely my Chinese zodiac year. I forgot to put a spacer on. So I have to put that bead on there one more time. It was so heavy, Dana. It was so heavy. Oh man. You know what? I've lifted much heavier things than those beads, but that was a lot of beads. And like I was kind of worried sometimes when I lifted it up or moved it that it would slip out of my hands and there would be beads everywhere and all of that sorting would get undone. So it didn't happen. Hooray. All right. Let's do some more knotting. Oh, I'm sure you guys know how it feels like when it takes you a while to get a tool or to get the hang of a tool, but it finally like comes together and you're like, aha, I can actually do things. That slipped off, so it kind of knotted further away from the bead than I wanted it to be. So maybe I need to remember to concentrate on what I'm doing a little bit more. I have not done another big sort. That was a big undertaking. Not just the recording of it, but just the sorting and the making sure things went places. I have a backlog of beads that I would like to sort and do that. Oh my gosh, yes, yes. The magical crimper does have a learning curve. I actually I started learning the magical crimper a little bit before I learned other types of crimping. So I keep going back to it because that's what I know. But also it just really works really well for me. Right. Oof, buddy. Scooch you up. That tightened up a little bit better. All right. All right, that's a better knot. That one was a better knot. You know, I might do another one later this year, not right now because I got a lot going on, but I could foresee me doing something like that maybe in the summer. Just setting aside a week of like just doing nothing but sorting because it will take a while to do all of that sorting. Absolutely take a while. Oh yeah, that is a really great way to get those. Yes. Telling myself that I'll put my beads away later and other lies. Is exactly how it goes. This the end of this cord isn't as I guess stiff as the other one, so it's a little more pliable and a little bit more difficult to get through some of these smaller holes. But I'm persevering because it does still work. It just takes a little bit more. Oh no. Oh no. See, if I keep mine in the boxes they come in, then I'll never use them because I'll forget them. But if I sort them, then I get to play with them and then I can see them all together in one place when I go to design from them. That's the whole reason I sort. Oh my goodness, Dana. So did it like coincide with all of the Tucson bundles that people are have been putting up for sale? Oh my gosh. And does that make it a nice surprise when you find them though? You're like, "Oh, when did I get these?" I guess the hard part is like if you forget that you got something and you see it for sale somewhere else and you're like, "Oh, I'd like to have some of that." And then you buy it and then you go to put it away and you end up putting it next to the rest of that type of bead. That's what appetite is for me. Or Amazonite. Amazonite. That's what Amazonite is for me. It's something that like I forget that I have a bunch of other Amazonite and I buy the Amazonite and then I have to put it with the rest of my Amazonite. Yes. They're the peanut butter beads, the ones where, you know, like, because if you go to the store and you're like, oh, I need to get peanut butter, and you get peanut butter and you put it back next to the other 4 jars of peanut butter that you already have in your house. Because you forgot that you had peanut butter already. I'm having a lot of fun doing these knots, y'all. At first, you know, when I wasn't getting the hang of the knotting tool, I was like, "Oh no, I'm gonna have a terrible time tonight, and everybody's gonna watch me do it." Oh, Stacey is that way with carnelian. Carnelian is your peanut butter bead. Yeah, I don't blame you though. Carnelian is such a pretty gemstone. Oh, there we go. We're halfway done with this strand. You know, this isn't going to take as long as the other one did. Yeah, they are far too easy to buy online, Dana. Far too easy. Sometimes I will put beads into my shopping cart and then just leave them there. Because sometimes I get the same little dopamine of just putting them in the cart that I would buying them. And then sometimes I will think about them and think about them and think about them and go back to my cart and be like, well, okay, I guess I am going to have these beads after all. Oh, I'm so glad you got the second companion bundle. I saw that go up for sale and I was sorely tempted, but I already got the first one. So I didn't want to be the reason that somebody else didn't get one of the second ones. So I was like, all right, I will celebrate my friends getting these. So I'm glad you got one. You know, beads make things better. They just do. Did you guys read the story in the news that they found a tomb or something of somebody who was very, very wealthy, and their tomb was filled with beads, absolutely filled with them. Like, you know, maybe we should get back to that. Maybe we should all get buried with our beads. I don't know. Think about how what a fun job or development that would be for future archaeologists to find somebody from our era buried with beads. The companion bundles, those were on the Beadbox Bargains website. And they're usually very limited in amount. So if it has sold out, it has sold out. But sometimes, if it's very, very popular, they might do another version. So, you know, it remains to be seen if they will do that with this one. They have been doing like version 3s as much as they have in some previous ones. I feel like I'm finally getting the hang of this. My end needs some work. I'm gonna. what if you wake up? Well, then you'll have lots of beads to play with, Celeste. I'm just using this to heat up the outside edges of this and then rolling them to make it a bit firmer and pointier. I'm just touching it really lightly with my heating tool, my thread burner. Just in case you're wondering what I was doing with this, I just need to make it a little bit easier for this point to go through some of these moonstone beads. There we go. That was much easier. Gosh. I think I might be done. Not yet. I have one more repeat over here to do. Let me check my alligator. You know, maybe you don't need them, but sometimes I think I do need beads just to, have something pretty and shiny and sparkly, or round and beautiful and stringable. I get so excited about new beads. But do you know what? The thing is, like, your non-beater friends might have something else that they get just as, ooh, need to have grabby hands about as beads. Because I'm a knitter and like I would always just be like, ooh, that yarn. I would definitely look at yarn and be like, I need that in my life, or feel yarn, and be like, oh, I need to pet this yarn for the rest of my life, that sort of thing. So it's possible that your friends, while they might not understand the bead obsession, they might have something that they also obsess about. You know what I mean? That's true. No other vices. Why not? Doesn't hurt anybody. And Dana, you do so many amazing and beautiful things with your beads. It'd be a crime to keep you from them. Bead bankruptcy. It's fine. There are multiple cultures that have used beads as currency. So, are you really poor if you have beads? I don't think so. Riches beyond compare, right here. Alright, I'm going to finish this last knot. Once again, I'm going to find my culottes and finish the whole necklace later off camera, but in the meantime, it would help if I put the bead on before the spacer. Might even have some beads left over that I could do a bracelet with probably later. Use this stripy guy as a focal. Have a couple of these guys maybe. And definitely these smaller beads. That would be pretty fun. I don't think I'll do a bracelet tonight. I think I'd like to get this done and then finish up my painting. You know what? We stash so that We have things to hand when we need them and when we want them. What kind of string am I using? It is just a knotting cord, Chinese knotting cord, but it is, I think it's 0.05 millimeter in size. It's fairly small, but it's definitely like thicker than most beading wire. All right, this is the last one. Ooh, happy birthday, Kathy. Green Girl Studios. That's so fantastic. Yes. Jill has had a couple of good sales going on too. At her shop. All right, here we go. Let's get that in there. Here we go. I'm feeling a lot more comfortable with it, Dana. Like I was struggling with it when I first started, and like right now I'm feeling more comfortable with it. I am going to use it in some more projects. Just so I can get a really good all around vibe with it. But so far, I'm pretty happy with this, especially with how long I might have taken doing hand knotting to get this necklace knotted up. But the fact that it cut some of that time for me, made it a little bit easier. I'm so far liking it. So it's got this little protector bit so you're not poking yourself with it. So I'm going to put that away. I'm going to switch real quick to face. There we go. This is how the necklace will look. There we go. Right there. Once I've got the culottes and the clasp on. So that's going to be a really nice little tool. And am I blurry? I feel like I'm blurry. Hold on. Better? Worse? Okay. I don't know how to make it focus on me. That's it's just how it is. But let's go back to the desk because I'm gonna go. Do I see knotted necklaces on their way to Jenny? Maybe my sister and I will do some knotting together because I'll bring this with me on my little trip because that would be a very fun activity to do some knotting. You just moved something. a 60s fog lens, yeah. You got some Vaseline on the on the lens. Found some more beads. I do not have a septum piercing. I have just the side of my nose piercing, but not my septum. Okay, I'm moving this out of the way because I want to get my alligator out here. And let's brainstorm some names for our alligator. What are we going to call him? Who is this? Fred? Is it Alfred the alligator? Call him Freddy? Maybe. Maybe. I'm going to do some little bumps. Up one side of Fred. And then some little bumps up his other side. Your carpet keeps eating your beads. Oh my goodness. Yeah. I actually need to clear up some of my carpet area. Alright, what do we got? I'm just doing a little bit of sketchy stuff on the outside. Who said Fred? I said Fred. Al works. Al the alligator. Who? What other names? Let's get some more names in here for this guy. Alan to go with Ellen. That's an idea. Alan the alligator. Can you hear? Speaking of Ellen, can you hear her? Okay, I got her little ridges for the head. She's not starving. She's had 2 entire meals, about 16 treats. Her problem is that I'm not next to her. I am all the way over here. And she needs me because she is not a strong, independent dog who don't need no mom. She's definitely I need you here all the time mother kind of a dog. That's pretty funny, Tina. She is starving for affection because, like, apparently the attention that I gave her just a half an hour, just before I came on here, just was not enough. It's never enough. She always needs more. Always needs more. All right. Frederick. I'm just gonna, I don't like some of these hard lines around him. So I'm just gonna smooth them out a little bit with some water. Not adding any paint, just smushing this paint around a little bit. And it'll make a different kind of a line, but you know, maybe it'll look more like water and less like weird marks on a page. Oh. Do I have more than one dog? Yes. I have Ellen, who is noisy, and I have Natty, who just likes to snuggle and chase a ball and eat and shake her head when her ears get itchy. So if you hear a slap, 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 slappity slap, that's Natalie shaking her head. That's what that is. That's me having more than one dog. Um, yes. Your little alligator. Let me bring him up. Rob, Tucker. Oh, like Tucker and Dale? Oh, Frederick. Yeah. Me and Jenny knew somebody named Frederick when we were growing up. Fred and Arfie. You do hear Natalie's ears a lot. Yep. Yep. Natalie's the one with the ears. Which dog snores louder? Oh my gosh, Tina. That is, I think it might be Natalie. She can be quite a snorer, but Ellen can be pretty noisy too. They're both. Oh my gosh, so I've got that, and then I've got my necklace that I made. And we did this, like, look at those colors. None of those colors were present in this palette. We mixed them. So there we go. That's the fun part of color mixing. Absolute funnest part about that. All right, my dog probably needs me to let her go outside because she just needs to go see if the frogs are ready for chasing, or maybe she just needs to do some business or something like that. So I am going to say good night to everybody. It's past midnight here, so I will sing you good morning. Good morning, good morning. We've stayed the whole night through, or something like that. Good morning to you. Anyway, I hope that you enjoyed this and that you are going to get ready to have a fantastic weekend. I'm glad, Dana, that you're feeling better. I hope your son feels better soon. And thank you for spending a little bit of time with me tonight, everyone. Happy beading, everyone. Goodbye until next time.